Hi, welcome to Portage County Matters. This is Patty Dreier, Portage County Executive, and I'm really happy that you've joined us again. Today, my guest is Sara Brish. She's the Executive Director of the Stevens Point Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. And I know that we're going to have a great show. We're going to talk about Farm Technology Days wrap-up, and we're going to talk about one of the greatest things that is a huge award that the CVB has gotten here in Portage County and Stevens Point. So we'll highlight all those things, but I have just three basic quick notes at the top of the show first. First of all, you know, we've been talking about groundwater a lot, and by the time that the show airs, it will have been a point that the report of all of the groundwater listening sessions that have been running since September last year will be posted on the county's website. So I hope that you'll take a look at that report, and maybe that you even attended the February 4th presentation that I make at 6:30 p.m. on that night to be able to summarize the series of events and then talk about where we go from here. In a nutshell, where we go from here to me is to build on the momentum that these listening sessions have offered us. We've had something like 200 individuals participate in the listening sessions, and we have a number of people who have been repeat visitors at various listening sessions. The bottom line is that whatever we do to our water, we do to ourselves. And so it's everybody's business to take care of looking to the future and imagining the future that we want for our health and well-being and our community's vitality and our economy and so on. So I hope that you will stay tuned on the groundwater issue, that you'll continue to stay involved, that you'll keep talking with me in my office. I know I've had a whole lot of citizens, and just talked to one yesterday on the phone related to the water concerns that this individual has, because again, we need all of your voices and your perspectives to make it through this next set of planning steps that we're going to take. A different subject, healthcare center. I've been talking about the healthcare center a lot. I've been working for, I would say now it's probably thousands of hours on trying to move the Portage County Healthcare Center to its next future, I guess I would call it, for the 100 licensed beds that we have serving people who are the most vulnerable in our community. Some of them are in a long-term care situation. Some of them are in a short-term rehabilitation situation because they just had, say, a hip replacement surgery, and other ones are in a memory care scenario. Anyway, there isn't a day that I stop in at the healthcare center that I don't talk with families and hear about the value of the center. What's happening now is in the month of February as well as March, you're going to start to hear a lot more information about the possibilities for the future of the healthcare center in partnership with others in our community. I'm excited about a planning retreat that we have for a number of folks, including a lot of community members, on February 2nd and February 3rd. And we are going to be visioning the Portage County and Central Wisconsin community and how we will serve elders for the next 50 to 100 years. So again, what you're going to hear in the month of February and March is related to the results of that planning retreat. And then the third and final note I wanted to offer you this morning before I start this wonderful conversation with Sara is related to space planning, physical space planning. We've talked a lot about that over these last 4 years as well. We've talked about crowded jails. We've talked about the need for a fourth courtroom for our future here in Portage County. And we are making progress in defining a vision about and a space plan for Portage County. In the month of March, that would be the first week of March at the Space and Properties Committee meeting, that it will be the first time that the physical space plan will be unveiled, I guess I would say, for others to continue to shape. And so it's a really important meeting as we talk about government facilities that will serve Portage County for the next 50 years or so. And I'm excited about where that progress is right now. It's a big vision, it's an important vision, and I hope that you'll stay tuned, you'll get yourself involved, and you'll help us make it an even better plan and idea for our county to move ahead on. So those are the news notes today, and again, thank you for listening to those, as I always appreciate your attention. And now I'd like to turn to Sara Brish and welcome you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity for me to talk tourism here with you.
Yeah, and I think you talk a lot of other subjects sometimes out in the community, but I don't know any of the other ones. It's always tourism. Last time you were the guest on the show, we didn't get to finish all of the great things that we had been talking about, and Farm Technology Days, which you led the way on, has been completed between then and now. And so we want to touch on lots of these kinds of matters, what's happening in the field of tourism right now, how exciting it is, what kind of a year we've had behind us in 2014. I understand it's a banner year. And then to do that after action on farm technology. Where should we start?
Well, let's start with farm technology because it's fresh. We just got back from a day-long retreat down in Wanakee where we sort of unveiled what we learned about the event and passed on some best practices to future host counties. So a lot of the information is still fresh, and I'm happy to be back. And
Are you recuperated?
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of come full circle and talk a little bit about what happened during the event and how successful it was. So as you know, because I know that you were out at the event, this event was very successful. The weather was great. We had almost 50,000 people, about 48,500 people attended this 3-day event. The area in which it was on was about 400 acres, and that included not only Tent City proper, which had almost 800 outdoor lots sold, and 300 indoor exhibitors, and about 600 commercial exhibitors total. The best ever for booth sales, so we're really excited about that. So not only did we...
The best ever in the history of the show in the state of Wisconsin, and you sold the most booths and had most vendors.
Yes, absolutely.
Isn't that super?
And I think that's largely in part due to our central location in the state, and just the sheer amount of ag related businesses we have here in central Wisconsin. And so a lot of the exhibitors were from the central Wisconsin market, but really came from throughout the nation as well. So we were happy to welcome all the visitors that came into the community, and this was an event that took about 4 years to plan, and we were a part of the bid process together with the county. And you know, who knew that 4 years ago it was going to be this much, work, and that it would have ended this successfully. So we're really excited about the event. And
your team did an amazing job, Sarah, and I can't believe what you personally did in your role to lead the way, to work with your executive team, to work through the issues and the challenges. I know about a few of those, and there were some.
Yeah,
very frankly,
absolutely.
People would want to know that. Because Jamie Gabert, my executive assistant in my office, was right there with you too, and I saw how much she had put into it and was supporting that all along. But you gave us a big gift here in Portage County, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity for Portage County to showcase what makes us unique in the state when it comes to agriculture. And so we, as part of the show, we put together field demonstrations where we get to take the general public out and about and show them how we harvest different crops here in Portage County. And so because of our diverse agricultural community here, we were able to have the most diverse field demonstrations ever in the show's history. So
I spent quite a number of hours participating in field demonstrations. There was an official who was from UW Extension in Madison who happened to be there when I just was out showing some interest, and he took me around in one of the vehicles and gave me all the highlights and insights, and it was phenomenal. And I learned a ton, and I saw so many people being involved out in those various field situations, observing what was happening, and walking through fields at some point, and watching various pieces of equipment being used, and demonstrating the contrast between various kinds of, say, hay cutting equipment. It was amazing, and I took great photos too, so it was so fun to be part of it.
Well, part of what made it so special was that people are so removed from really where their food comes from, and the trend is, it's trending that folks really want to be more engaged in where their food comes from and learn a little bit more. So I think because of the diverse field demonstrations and the fact that people want to learn a little bit more about where their food comes from, made it really special, and we really set the bar really high for Dane County and future hosts, and I hope that they can have the extent of field demonstrations that we did, because people are really eager to learn more about.
It was fun to see the families. You're exactly right. There were parents and their children all standing side by side participating. Mom and dad are pointing out things, and it was just great. It really was.
Well, and that was just one aspect of the show, and now that the show has been wrapped up, you know, it really gave back to the community, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because I don't think people realize how great it was for the community. Not only did we have the economic benefit of all those visitors coming into town and those exhibitors setting up, some set up shop up to 2 months in advance, but it was good for the people, and I'll tell you why. We had about 19 local nonprofit organizations who assisted with the food tents throughout the show. We had 6 food tents.
Too.
And we paid those nonprofit organizations out about $95,000. That's money that those organizations wouldn't have had if this event wouldn't have come to town. So I think that's really important for people to know. And not only did we give back in that way, but the Wisconsin Farm Technology Days Board gave away 3 scholarships as well to youth that are pursuing ag-related higher education. And again, that's probably something that the average citizen wouldn't know about, and I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. But in addition to that, we have 4 local FFA groups that also assisted throughout the show with setup and teardown, and we also gave them $1,000 grants. So we gave $4,000 back to the FFAs, and those grants are to be used to educate youth in farming and farming technologies. So I'm really excited about that. So it gave back to the community in so many other ways. And
one of the other ways that you didn't mention was our sales tax. What we noticed from Portage County standpoint, when it's reported to our finance committee on a regular basis, is that our sales tax was up. We expected it to be so, we projected it, but even surpassed the projections. And so that's great, because that then helps us when we need to continue to find funding for operating and so on and so forth, that keeps us strong here in our government services as well.
great. Well,
All right, and then, so cleanup, that was such a big deal. Okay, we go through this whole thing. We have all these people. I can see so many of the different exhibits. I can see the horse, the equine events. I can see the spudmobile. I can see so many different, all the different kinds of foods we enjoyed, and all the human capital that was being built as so-and-so is working with so-and-so and met so-and-so, and so our community, and all the different entertainment, the family living tent, and the work that people put into everything there was amazing. So now, it all finished, and it was time now to clean up. Did we really get it back the way we wanted it to for those gracious, gracious farm hosts that we had?
First of all, I'd like to extend our thanks to all of the hosts. We not only had the Blue Top Farms, Phelps Family Farms, but we worked with cooperating growers as well for the field demonstrations. Without their support, we wouldn't have been able to host the show. And in talking to answer your question, in talking to those folks, we really did bring the soil back up to its original state, and we tried to clean up everything and make it perfect again so that they can continue on with operations come this spring.
It was daunting, as I had learned about trying to make sure that there wasn't any metal left in the field, because that would damage a piece of egg equipment, and that would be really awful. So
I didn't even think about some of those.
Incredible for making sure that we gave something back in even better condition if we could than they had graciously given to us in the first right.
And that was part of the policy when we originally signed on to host the event, and we worked with the cooperating growers and the host families. Our agreement to them was that we were going to bring it back to where it was when we started the process. So that's just what we did.
Wow. Well, anyway, is it time to transition from Farm Technology Days to all the other great things going on?
Sure.
All right, so where should we start on that? How would you like to?
Well, I think this is a great time of year to talk about tourism in 2014 and what happened. And 2014 was a banner year for tourism here in Portage County. We saw an increase in room tax collectively in the city of Stevens Point, village of Plover, and town of Plover to the tune of about 11% last year. And there's many contributing factors to that. We had a hugely successful first quarter last year, due in part by some NCAA tournaments that we hosted here, including including the NCAA Division III Women's Basketball Championship, which is really essentially the Final Four for women's basketball for D3, Division III. And so we successfully hosted many sports events last year. And then we had an extended winter season last year. If you'll remember, in March and April, the sun was out, but the snow had fallen. We had a lot of fresh snow in February, March, and April, which you know, got people out and about and into the community to snowshoe and snow ski and even snowmobile. They extended the snowmobile season just slightly last year to accommodate all the snow we had. And so I think people were just out and about more, and we see an influx of travelers from the Milwaukee and Madison markets that specifically come up to snowshoe or snow ski, because typically if they don't have snow, I mean, we're the next closest
sure, not too far away
community with great trail infrastructure that would allow people to get outside and recreate.
Excellent.
But on top of that, we had applied for a grant last year from the Wisconsin Department of Tourism and received it, and it was for an 8-week Celebrate the Arts promotion.
This is the one that was featured at the county board meeting, I think, probably the same week as the taping of the show here for the visitors in our community, so they could tune into the January county board meeting video and be able to watch that from Greg Wright telling about your great work.
Yeah, so we teamed up with the Arts Alliance of Portage County and several of the nonprofits throughout the community to promote the arts. And we promoted all aspects of the arts. So not only the visual and the performing, which most people think of when they think of the arts, but we promoted the culinary arts and the art of brewing as well. So this 8-week sales promotion we targeted highly the Milwaukee and Madison markets. And we did a lot of social media marketing because it's traceable and trackable. And so that was really successful. And because of that, we saw about a 5% increase in occupancies compared to the year prior. So we were really excited about that.
And that's reminding me, like when I'm down on Main Street at Gallery Q and so on, and I'm meeting different people who have come to participate in what's going on for arts, and again, this just happened to be downtown. I remember meeting people who had come from across the state to be able to participate in our activities, and so I'll bet you had something to do with some of that.
Well, I hope so.
I'm guessing.
Well, it was only an 8-week promotion. We continue to promote the arts. We have a great relationship with the Arts Alliance, so much so that we actually received a huge award last year in front of our peers from throughout the nation and really the world.
Talk about that. And don't be shy, because you might not want to toot your horn, but I'm going to help you toot it.
Well, sometimes it's hard to do that, but sometimes you have to. We received the Arts Destination Marketing Award from the Destination Marketing Association International and the American for the Arts organizations, and that was it was because of our partnership with the Arts Alliance, and they also received one as well. And it was mainly for the Celebrate the Arts promotion. And you know, the story that we told when we applied for the award, because we nominated ourselves and our peers nominated us as well, was that, you know, this is really unique. We have great art infrastructure here. We have great museums and galleries and great performances taking place. We have this niche group of folks that are interested in the art of brewing and, you know, through distilling and beer making and now wine making. And so let's tell a story. Let's tell people why they should visit. And so we formed this relationship, and we built packages, and we did all sorts of things. And it's just been a really great relationship. We have tremendous amenities. I don't need to tell you, but I'm telling everyone else that we have some of the finest art venues, events, performances, and so we're just happy to tell the story, and that's what we received our story for. It was really just our partnership and how we told the story to the rest of the state and the Midwest.
So Sarah, that just reminds me, in the town of Plover, at one of the hotels, I remember we had a retreat for the CVB, and it was a time for us to do some strategic planning with all different kinds of community members. I remember who was at my table at that particular day. It was a diversity of people. And one of the things that we came up with was this idea of highlighting our brewing and so on, but the whole arts growth. I think the idea of the creative industry has really taken off since then. And so it's helped us to sort of package and color all of this a little bit even more excitingly. And do you think that what you're working on now is really a spin-off from those days of that planning that we all did?
Absolutely. As you mentioned, we had a strategic conversation back in January of 2011, where we brought about where we brought about 40 stakeholders from throughout the community, throughout the county, together to talk about what sets Portage County apart from every other county in the state, and how should we promote fun here in Portage County.
That's it. I'm remembering now. It was just an awesome experience.
And so we pulled together sort of a database of our tourism-based assets, and we found some themes, some common themes. Yep. Brewing was one of them, the arts was another, great events was another, great outdoor recreation, great trail infrastructure. Those are some of the themes that we found. And through research, we found that we can attract an educated, more affluent traveler, really of all ages, because we have so many different things to offer. We also learned that we have a lot of wonderful attractions, but a lot of them are short. So you can, meaning that you can do something, but only for a short time period, 1 to 3 hours. So by packaging things together, we really have a product worth promoting. So oftentimes we'll promote, say, you know, our great trail infrastructure. Come to, you know, snowshoe or ski or hike or bike during the morning or mid-afternoon, and then after that, enjoy some of our fine eateries and fine pubs, and enjoy our brewery tours and mixology bars and things like that. So we couple our attractions together to make a real package, a real trip worth taking.
Outstanding. There's nobody I know that's better at promoting our area than you. I mean, even just the way that you frame it with the excitement that you have on a daily basis and just being who you are, I'm sure it just like spills over into those networks.
Well, I think we have a great team of individuals on our staff. We don't have a lot of turnover, we don't have any turnover, which is great. It allows us to focus on what we're passionate about, and it allows us to, you know, keep learning about the latest trends and what's going on in the industry, and not have to start over year after year or time after time. So I think our great staff is, you know, what really keeps this, you know, these great stats moving up on the chart.
So let's say that I didn't hear about a package in particular, but I happen to be driving through and I just think, you know, this kind of looks like a neat place. I understand you have some mobile apps.
Yeah.
For our cell phones and so on. Just talk a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Well, while we don't have a mobile application, we have what we call optimized website.
Okay.
So if you search stevenspointarea.com on your tablet or on your iPad or on your phone, whether it's an Android or iPhone, or your laptop, while you're in the community or driving through the community, our site is optimized for your frame, whatever it might be, and it's easy to navigate. So you can learn where to dine, where to stay if you're wanting to stay, what to do, and then we do have some packages and themes, themed itineraries on the site as well.
Oh,
so
superness.
you can, with very little time investment, you can learn a lot about the community just through your mobile device or tablet as you're traveling through or to the region. So we encourage people to use it. It's very user-friendly, and you know, sometimes as community members, we forget all there is.
We take it for granted, don't we?
Yeah, you said it. We forget or take it for granted all the great things there is to see and do here in this community. And I think sometimes we just need a reminder. So whether that's stopping at our visitor center, which is located on North Division, just next to the new Culvers, or visiting our website, or just picking up the phone and calling us to find out what there is to see and do. We have a lot of folks that stop into the center or call because they have family coming into town and they're not sure what to do with them for the day or the weekend or just a couple hours. And that's what we're there for. We're a 24/7 resource.
So what would you say is next on your plate? Like, what do you see? What should we all start getting excited about right now? Because you're working on it.
Well, there's a lot of great things happening, and we've really started to focus on bringing more leisure travel here to central Wisconsin. And again, spinning off of the arts promotion that we did this spring, we want to continue to expand that reach, not beyond the Madison and Milwaukee art markets. And so we'll continue to tell that story throughout Wisconsin and throughout the Midwest and trying to lure people here. We just launched in October our Craft Collective promotion, which is just a promotion of the 4 breweries, the distillery, and the wineries. So, and soon to be 2 wineries. So look for more, you know, marketing of the beer and spirits industry, because that's what we're gonna do. Again, only about 10% of our marketing is local. So a lot of the residents here aren't seeing what they're doing, and they're not really sure what the visitor center does, but that's because most of our advertising is outside of this market. I mean, we want visitors to come in and spend money while they're in town with overnights and at restaurants and at shops and things like that. So that's why probably people like you and others are not seeing our advertising. It's because we don't spend a lot of money right here in our market.
One of the things that I know that you had done, and I had participated in a little bit, was head out to the East Coast, and you helped to bring the, I think it's 2016 Isaac Walton League National Convention here. My husband's on the state board, and actually this last weekend he attended the state meeting down in the Fond du Lac area. And of course they were talking about the excitement of bringing that conference here and doing the planning around that. So thank you for that. I'm excited about it. I think the next this conference this year is in South Dakota, and actually my husband and I might go out to participate. But anyway, so when you bring those kinds of things, I mean, I think many people may not even understand that's what you do in your organization as well. You go bring specific large events straight here.
Yeah, we have a sales team that's dedicated to seeking, prospecting new business, and we do a phenomenal job with our meetings and conventions market and hosting large and small events in our community. And so one of the showcase events in 2016 is going to be the Isaac Walton League National Convention. We're looking forward to that.
Exciting.
I know Tom in our office is working with the planning committee for that event and trying to secure transportation and off-site tours throughout the community. We're coordinating some of the welcome messaging that's going to be the first couple of days during the breakouts and things like that. So there's a lot of moving pieces and parts that go into hosting an event, and we have a service team that continues to work with groups that are coming in town, and we have that same sales team of 1. Tom is pretty efficient. He's also prospecting new business. So there's a couple of other national events that we're working on right now as we speak. I can't give you any more information, but we're certainly seeking some national events. But really our bread and butter is those state associations, folks that are hosting those annual conventions for their state association, and there's an association for everything. So we continue to prospect for that business as well. And I can't not mention our sports tourism business. We are very lucky. We have over 118 youth and amateur sports organizations in this county, and we have great volunteers that are willing to host great events. And because of that, we have gymnastics and soccer and wrestling and baseball and softball,
and we just started the snowmaking project actually this month. So we're moving ahead to make sure that we can make it even more attractive for folks to come in and do something. Exactly.
Well, we're looking forward to that.
Well, Sara, our show is coming to a close now, and I just really want to congratulate you again and your staff on outstanding work, on your ambassadorship for Portage County, on your recent international award. How much more proud can we be? Anyway.
We should all be proud. This is a great place to truly live, play, and stay.
Excellent. All right, see you next time. I'm positive we'll have you on again. Thanks everybody for joining us. Next month, my guest is Dave Ekman, who will be coming back to join us. He's coming from the university to talk with us about economic development and all the great innovations happening at UW-Stevens Point. Thanks everybody for joining us.